Welcome to the Mythbusters After Show. This episode is about our season premiere, the 10th anniversary special, The Rocket Car. First question. I found this show both spectacular and emotional. How did you guys feel about it?
I would say that accurately sums up the way I felt doing it. Being back out to the desert, it really was kind of like a nice coming full circle for us production-wise. Being out there with the whole team, all 5 of the hosts. We rarely film episodes together, like all 5 of us in the same room. To spend a week out there in the desert doing that was quite emotional, and it was also spectacular. I think those are 2 excellent words.
Yeah. Next.
That's it? That's all you have? Yeah?
Yeah.
You don't have anything else?
Well, I'm not an emotional kind of guy, am I? And spectacular, it's like it speaks for itself.
All right.
It was.
Okay. You went to a lot of effort making that truck crash-proof, and then you didn't even drive it. Why was that? That's a good question.
Well, it wasn't actually made to be crash-proof as far as the truck moving. It was made to be crash-proof. Yeah, rocket car-proof, and it served that function.
We don't want you to get hurt, big guy.
Don't touch me.
Sorry.
It didn't turn out to be necessary, thankfully, but it was necessary. It was a necessary precaution.
If we didn't plan to drive and the car was all of a sudden going out of range at 1,000 feet, which is about how far back we were from the line of ignition, then we'd be totally boned. And we have had problems with transmission distance before. We basically gave ourselves the ability to drive the truck behind the car to keep the distance between them as short as possible in case that was necessary. I think the fact that we didn't drive the truck at the end just shows, the best laid plans of mice and men, and we're willing to change on a dime, and luckily we were able to not have to drive that.
Yeah.
Next question, what were you most worried would go wrong?
We were most worried if nothing happened.
Yes.
Like, we can't go down there with all that expense and effort and have, say, like we had on the one before that, the car just blew up.
The car just blew up. So
we don't want that to happen again.
In this one, we looked at blowing up as not an option. We looked at the car not working as, well, if that happens, then we can deal with that. We can put the car stationary if we had to. The one thing that was the most critical was that the rockets had to fire. And that's, honestly, we really made sure we got the best people for that, because that's mission critical and not an option for them not to actually fire off.
As that car was crossing its ignition point on the path towards the ramp in particular, if
those rockets didn't fire, I would not be able to steer away from the ramp in time. That car was going to go off the ramp and be ruined.
Yeah, and the rockets and everything, it could have been ruined. That would be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Fortunately, even if the cars didn't take off and fly for a mile, everything that we did actually worked the way that it was supposed to. And as we talked about it, these are cars with rockets on them. That's what they're going to do, is get out of control, because they're not aerodynamic.
Yes. Next question. I love the idea that the bit Jamie made was the only part of the car that survived. Were you surprised by that?
Well,
not really. I mean,
it makes sense, given the destruction that it had. I was surprised, or the stress that the cars went through with, getting shot up into the air and then down into the ground and ricocheting off the ground and going back.
Bouncing off the ground and rolling and tumbling.
It's hard to imagine anything withstanding that. But
that triangular truss structure, that box truss structure, there's a reason they make cranes like that.
Yeah, and I dialed in on that, and it worked. The other thing about it is that it's not that surprising, because the cars are all made out of thin sheet metal. Even the chassis on that car and on most cars,
thin steel.
Yeah, I mean the square steel tubing that we were anchoring all this stuff to was the walls of it are thicker. We didn't.
Or thicker than anything you could find on a car.
Yeah.
It's a rocket.
man.
It was weird engineering it because I'm welding all this massive stuff to where it eventually is going to go to something that's
It's really
like
lightweight stuff. We talked
like
a lot about engineering that, about
Yeah.
ways to distribute the force so that the struts that we had going to the body of the car wouldn't just punch through the outside of the car when they endured any stress.
But I have to say I was tickled that it actually worked, and
Absolutely.
that's very rewarding.
Yeah. All right, next question. What does it mean to you on a personal level that you've been on the air for 10 years? It means I'm 10 years older. There's a lot more gray in my beard than when we started.
I'm gonna have to have a grinectomy.
Oh, yeah, heck, we're just going with it. You know, it's all been such a strange and unlikely thing that this would happen.
That it would happen and have such staying power. I mean, we're still having the time of our lives. As far as we're concerned, there's no end in sight.
Yeah.
All right, last question. Jado4, car with wings, go on, you know you want to. No, I don't really want to. I'm not that into a car with wings. Don't get me wrong. It's not that I'm not into a car with wings, but a rocket car with wings, it's a car-shaped rocket, not a rocket car.
Yeah, I mean, and there's no question involved there that, I mean, you can make a brick aerodynamic, you know, but what's the point? You can put a rocket behind a brick, or you can put a rocket on anything you want and make it fly if you've got enough rockets and you engineer it. But that's not, that becomes this whole thing like it's just another rocket. These were like, if you looking at those cars going across the desert there with all of those rockets firing and not really knowing what was going to happen, because it's just a massive amount of power stuck onto the end of a car.
Yep.
That's thrilling. We don't know. We like it when we don't know the outcome.
Absolutely. So I think that you could safely say rocket car has been put to bed.
Yeah.
I think we feel like that one's done and done.
Well, I think our work here is done.
I think so.
So thanks for hanging out for the Mythbusters After Show. We got a whole great season following this, so keep watching every Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Mythbusters is back. And we're back big time.
That was the most incredible thing we've ever done.
With more explosions. More car carnage. More special guests.
It's Breaking Bad in the house.
And more spectacle than ever before. This season
There he goes.
puts the awe in awesome.
Here we go.